Her hands trembled as she wiped the grease off the blood-stained wrench. Outside, the rain pounded hard against the cracked windows of the tiny garage, each drop tapping like a heartbeat in the silent, cold space. The mechanic barely noticed. His eyes were locked on the crumpled figure slumped against the far wall. The CEO's expensive suit was soaked in mud and stained with fresh blood. A heavy breath escaped the man's lips. He was pale, weak, and desperate. For a moment he just stared up at the ceiling, like he was trying to remember something important. Or maybe forget. The mechanic, a man named Sam, didn't know what had brought this stranger here, bleeding and broken. All he knew was that no one else was coming to help. The man needed him, and Sam couldn't just stand by. The garage door creaked open suddenly. A shadow filled the doorway. Sam's heart jumped. The stranger outside was tall and menacing, eyes sharp and cold, like a wolf hunting its prey. "Who are you?" Sam asked, voice steady but cautious. The man stepped inside, rain dripping from his coat, his gaze locked onto the CEO. "He's not safe here. You shouldn't have brought him." Sam's hands tightened around the wrench. "He came to me for help." "You want to fight? Take me. Leave him out of it." The stranger sneered but didn't attack. Instead, he pulled a folded note from his pocket and threw it on the floor near the CEO. "Tell him to read this," the man said before turning and leaving as fast as he'd come, leaving behind the cold smell of rain and danger. Sam looked down at the note, heart pounding. The CEO struggled to sit up, hands shaking. "What is this?" the CEO asked. Sam knelt beside him, carefully unfolding the paper. The note was short but chilling. "You don't know who you've betrayed. Watch your back." The words hit the garage like a punch to the gut. The CEO's face twisted with shock and fear. "Who would do this to me?" he whispered. Sam stared at him. "You don't have to tell me now, but you're not safe. Not here. We need to figure this out, fast." The CEO nodded weakly, swallowing hard. The rain outside didn't stop. It kept beating against the windows. Like a warning, Sam helped the CEO to a worn-out chair. "You need to rest," he said softly. The man shook his head. "No time. They're coming." "I don't have much time." Sam looked at the bruises on the man's face, the dirt and blood on his suit. He looked nothing like the powerful CEO most people imagined. He looked scared, like a man drowning and reaching for a lifeline. "Who sent the note?" Sam asked. Again, the CEO swallowed hard, eyes darting around as if the walls might be listening. "I made enemies," he said finally. "People I trusted, who want me gone." Sam's brow furrowed. "Enemies? What kind?" The CEO hesitated, then said, "In business, there are deals you don't walk away from. People who lose a lot if you expose them. I found something dangerous. Now they want to silence me." Sam shook his head slowly. "Sounds like trouble. Serious trouble." The CEO nodded. "That's why I came here. I thought if I hid in this forgotten part of town, no one would find me." Sam glanced around his small garage, the one place that time forgot. Old tools, broken cars, dusty shelves. It was no place for a powerful man to hide, but it was all he had. Suddenly, a loud noise outside made them both freeze. Footsteps. Heavy, fast. Sam rushed to the window and peeked out. Two men in dark coats were moving quickly toward the garage, their faces hidden beneath hats pulled low. "They're here," Sam said quietly. The CEO's eyes widened. "Get ready. We don't have much time." Sam moved to the back of the garage, grabbing a heavy wrench and checking the locks. The men reached the door and started banging hard. "Open up. We know he's inside," one shouted. Sam took a deep breath. This wasn't just a game anymore. This was life and death. Sam's mind raced. How had this man, a CEO with so much power, ended up in his rundown garage, running from shadows no one dared to speak of? The banging grew louder, more urgent. Sam met the CEO's eyes. "We're going to get through this," he said firmly. The CEO swallowed hard but nodded. Sam edged toward the back door, heart pounding in his chest. He needed a plan, fast. Suddenly a loud crash echoed from the front door. The lock splintered. The men were breaking in. Sam grabbed the CEO's arm. "This way!" He led him toward a narrow door at the back of the garage, one that led to an alley. The CEO stumbled but didn't resist. They slipped through the back door just as the men burst inside. The rain hit their faces like cold knives. As they ran into the dark alley, behind them, shouts and footsteps echoed. Sam glanced back. The men were gaining. "We need to split up," Sam said. The CEO shook his head. "No, I'm not leaving." Sam's jaw tightened. Suddenly, a shadow moved. In the alley, a figure stepped out, blocking their path. It was a woman, soaked and furious. "Go!" she shouted at them. "I'll hold them off." Sam hesitated. The CEO looked at her, confused. The woman smiled bitterly. "Trust me." Without waiting, she stepped forward and faced the chasing men. Sam grabbed the CEO's arm and pulled him. Down a side street. Behind them, the sounds of struggle mixed with the pounding rain. Breathing hard, they ducked into a small, abandoned building. The CEO leaned against the wall, chest heaving. "Who was that?" he asked. Sam shook his head. "Don't know, but she just saved our lives." The CEO looked at Sam with a new kind of respect. "Why did you help me?" he asked softly. Sam shrugged. "Because no one else would." The CEO closed his eyes, pain and exhaustion washing over him. "I'm in deeper trouble than I thought," he whispered. Sam looked at the note again. "Whoever wrote this wants you dead." The CEO nodded grimly. "Yes, and if I'm not careful, it won't just be me." Sam swallowed hard. This was bigger than either of them realized. The rain finally slowed to a drizzle. Outside, the city lights blinked in the night mist. Inside that quiet, broken-down building, two strangers shared a fragile moment, caught between fear and hope. What secrets did the CEO hold? Who wanted him silenced, and how far would Sam go to protect a man whose life had been shattered? The answers were hidden in the shadows. But one thing was clear. Nothing would ever be the same again. Secrets in the shadows. The small room smelled of damp concrete and old paint. The CEO, David, sat on a broken chair, his eyes dark and tired. Sam paced the floor, his mind racing with questions that had no easy answers. "Tell me everything," Sam finally said, stopping in front of him. "What did you find that got you into this mess?" David hesitated. His fingers trembled as he unfolded a small, folded piece of paper from his jacket pocket. It was a list, names, dates, and numbers. Some were crossed out, others circled in red. "This," David said quietly, "is a list of people involved in a massive fraud scheme inside my company, people I trusted." Sam glanced at the list, feeling the weight of the secret. "You mean your own people?" David nodded slowly. "Not all, but the worst ones. They're powerful. If this comes out, they'll lose everything. Their reputations, money, freedom." "And they want to stop you?" Sam asked. David swallowed hard. "More than that, they want me gone. Permanently." Sam clenched his fists. "Why didn't you go to the police?" David looked away, pain flickering in his eyes. "Because some of those people are connected to the police. If I went public, I'd have nowhere to turn." Sam felt a cold chill run down his spine. They weren't just fighting a corporate battle. They were up against a web of lies and betrayal that ran deep into places no one should trust. Suddenly, a noise from outside snapped both men to attention. Sam moved to the window and looked out. A dark figure stood across the street watching the building. "Who is that?" David whispered. Sam's eyes narrowed. "Someone dangerous." The figure moved away, disappearing into the night. David ran a hand through his hair. "They're closing in." Sam's mind spun. They needed a plan, fast. The woman who saved them. The woman who had saved them in the alley, a stranger named Lisa, arrived minutes later, soaked but alert. Her eyes were sharp, and despite the rain, her expression was fierce. "I don't have," Much time, Lisa said. They know where you are. David stood and shook her hand. Thank you, but who are you? Why help me? Lisa's gaze softened for a moment. Because someone has to. Sam watched the exchange carefully. Lisa didn't seem like a hero, but she wasn't an enemy either. She had secrets, just like David. Lisa took a deep breath and explained, I've been following the same people who want you dead. I lost my brother because of them. David's eyes flashed with pain and anger. I'm sorry, Lisa shook her head. No, you're not. But maybe together we can stop this. Sam nodded slowly. If we work together, we might stand a chance. Plan to survive. The three of them huddled together, whispering urgently. David explained the fraud scheme, massive money laundering, fake contracts, and secret offshore accounts that lined the pockets of powerful men. Lisa revealed that she had been gathering evidence for months, but she had almost no proof that could stand in court. Sam, the mechanic with no experience in corporate wars, surprised them both. I know people, he said. People who owe me favors. If we can get some evidence out to the right hands, maybe we can fight back. David looked skeptical. I don't trust anyone outside this room. Sam smiled faintly. You don't have to. Just a few. Lisa nodded. We have to be careful. One wrong move and it's over. They agreed to split up the tasks. Lisa would gather what evidence she had left. David would try to secure digital files from his office, and Sam would contact his trusted allies for backup, a fracture between. Trust despite the teamwork. Tensions simmered beneath the surface. David was a man used to control, and now he was forced to rely on strangers. Lisa's sharp eyes caught Sam watching them. Do you trust me? David asked Sam quietly. Sam shrugged. I trust actions, not words. David's jaw tightened. Actions can be dangerous. Too, Lisa broke the silence. We don't have the luxury of trust, only survival. The first twist, suddenly the power went out. Darkness swallowed the room. David's phone buzzed. A message appeared. Stop now or lose everything. The threat was clear. Sam reached for his wrench, but David stopped him. No violence yet, David said, voice steady but tense. They want fear. Lisa moved to the window cautiously. Did you call for backup? David asked Sam. No, Sam replied. I wanted to keep this quiet. David shook his head. Now they know. Betrayal lurks. The tension broke when David's phone rang. He answered, voice shaking. David. The voice on the other end was calm and cold. We know where you are. David swallowed. What do you want? To end this quietly. You disappear and no one gets hurt. David's eyes met Sam's and Lisa's. We can't run anymore. The call ended abruptly. Race against time with the threat hanging over them. The trio knew the next hours would be crucial. Lisa insisted on checking a safe house she had prepared. David looked at Sam. Can you get us there? Sam nodded. I know the back roads. They gathered what little they could carry. Laptops, chargers, some cash. The rain had stopped, but the night was still cold and unforgiving. As they left the building, the streetlights flickered. Sam glanced behind. Shadows moved again. They had started a dangerous game, and the players were watching, a new ally on. The way to the safe house, Sam called an old friend, Marcus, a former cop who had left the force after a scandal. I need a favor, Sam, said Marcus's voice was rough but familiar. What trouble have you gotten yourself into? Sam explained briefly. Marcus sighed. All right, I'll help, but you owe me. A glimmer of hope. The safe house was small but secure. Inside, Lisa began transferring files to an encrypted drive. David stared at the list again, the weight of the betrayal pressing down. Sam kept watch at the door. For the first time, the three of them felt something rare, hope, but hope was fragile and danger was closer than they knew. Cliffhanger as. Lisa decrypted a file. A knock sounded on the door. Sam froze. David's heart pounded. Who is it? Lisa called. No answer. Sam. moved to the door, peering through the peephole. Outside stood a man, calm, confident, holding a briefcase. His eyes met Sam's. A smile crept across his lips. "We need to talk." The stranger's offer. The knock echoed in the small, dimly lit safe house. Sam's fingers tightened around the doorframe as he stared at the man outside, calm, composed, and unsettlingly confident. "We need to talk," the stranger repeated, his voice smooth but carrying an edge that made Sam's skin crawl. Lisa stepped back behind Sam, her eyes narrowed, scanning every inch of the man. David remained seated, frozen, eyes darting between the door and the encrypted files still open on the laptop screen. "Who are you?" Sam demanded, his voice low but steady. The man smiled, almost kindly, and pulled out a business card. "Call me Mr. Gray. I work for people interested in your predicament." David's pulse quickened. He recognized that phrase. A thinly veiled threat, disguised as a promise. Sam shook his head. "We don't want to hear from anyone who's working for them. Get lost." Mr. Gray's smile didn't waver. "You don't have a choice. I'm here to offer a solution, one that could save all your lives." A dangerous proposal. Mr. Gray was invited in, but the tension was thick, like a storm waiting to break. Lisa kept her hand near the pocket where she hid a small knife, ready if things turned sour. Mr. Gray wasted no time. "The people you're up against, they're powerful, wealthy beyond measure, with eyes and ears everywhere. Fighting them head-on means death or worse." David's hands clenched the edge of the table. "So what? You want us to surrender? Give up our fight?" Mr. Gray shook his head slowly. "No, I want you to be smart, to negotiate. You have evidence, but it's weak. We can make it stronger, if you cooperate." Lisa's jaw tightened. "Cooperate with who? You or them?" "Neither," Gray replied. "I represent a faction inside their ranks, a group tired of the corruption. We want change, but it has to be done quietly." Sam exchanged a glance with Lisa. Neither trusted the man. "Why should we believe you?" Sam asked. Gray pulled out a thick envelope and placed it on the table. Inside were photos, clear, undeniable proof of illicit meetings, bribery, and fake contracts. People they thought untouchable, caught red-handed. David's breath caught. "Where did you get this?" Gray's smile faded slightly. "Sources, but it's only a fraction. We can give you access to everything if you join us." Torn between hope and danger, Lisa stared at the photos, conflicted. This was the kind of proof they needed. But at what cost? David looked from Gray to Sam. "If this is true, we can end this." Sam was skeptical. "And if it's a trap?" Gray shrugged. "Trust no one. But right now you don't have many options." The room fell silent. A new enemy, outside the safe house. Shadows shifted. A black SUV idled in the rain-soaked street, headlights off. Inside, a man watched the building, eyes cold and calculating. "Report to the boss," he said into his phone. "They've made contact with a third party." The voice was sharp and threatening. "We move fast, no mistakes." Back inside, a risky alliance, David finally spoke. "All right, we'll cooperate, but we need guarantees." Gray nodded. "You'll get protection and proof strong enough to bring them down, but you must follow my instructions. No questions." Sam looked at Lisa. She hesitated, then nodded. "Fine," Sam said. "We're in." The first mission, Gray handed over a burner phone. "Use this to contact my people. Your first task is to retrieve a hard drive from one of their safe locations. It contains data that will expose their international accounts." David swallowed hard. "Where?" Gray smiled. "I'll text the address, but beware, it's heavily guarded." Lisa and Sam exchanged glances. "This won't be easy," Lisa said. Sam tightened his jaw. "We're mechanics and office workers, not spies." Gray's smile was chilling. "You'll manage. You don't have a choice." Planning the heist back inside, They spread out maps and floor plans of the building. David was shocked at the complexity of the security. Cameras, guards, electronic locks. "We need someone on the inside," Lisa said. Sam nodded. "I might know." "A guy," David raised an eyebrow. I thought you fixed cars." Sam smirked. "People have more than one skill." A hidden past Sam's phone buzzed. He answered quietly. "Hey, it's me. Tina." Sam's expression softened. "Tina, I need a favor." Tina was a former security technician who had worked in the building they needed to infiltrate. "I can get you in," she whispered urgently. "But it'll cost you." The cost of trust. David looked uneasy. "We can't trust anyone." Lisa nodded. "Especially not in this game." Sam turned to them, determination burning in his eyes. "If we don't do this, we lose everything." David sighed, running a hand through his hair. "All right, let's do it." Inside the enemy's lair, a week later, Sam and Tina were in the belly of the beast. Tina worked her magic on the security system, bypassing alarms and cameras with practiced ease. Sam's heart pounded. They moved quickly, carefully, avoiding patrols. Reaching the server room, Tina hacked the door's keypad. Inside, rows of servers hummed with secrets. Sam found the hard drive, a close call. Just as they were about to leave, a guard appeared. Sam froze. Tina whispered, "Stay still." The guard scanned the room, then moved on. Sam's heart nearly exploded. They escaped into the night, clutching the hard drive. Returning to the safe house. Back at the safe house, Lisa and David greeted them. Lisa took the hard drive with trembling. "Hintons, let's see what secrets you hold," she said. David inserted the drive into his laptop. Files and spreadsheets appeared. Evidence of massive fraud. Hidden accounts, offshore deals. David's eyes filled with tears. "This is it," he whispered. "But not everyone is who they seem." Suddenly, the burner phone buzzed. Gray's message was chilling. "You've been compromised. Trust no one. Run." David's blood ran cold. Lisa grabbed her knife. Sam looked at them both. "What's going on?" Before anyone could answer, the door slammed open. Armed men flooded the room. Fight or flight. Sam's wrench was in his hand before he could think. Lisa slashed with her knife. David dove for cover. The fight was brutal but quick. They fought with desperation, knowing failure meant death. Sam landed a heavy blow on one attacker. Lisa knocked another out cold. David ran for the back. Exit, escape, and pursuit. They burst into the alleyway. Sirens wailed in the distance. "We have to split up." Lisa shouted. David hesitated. "No time," Sam said. They ran in different directions into the night. A final twist as Sam disappeared into the darkness. His phone buzzed again. A text appeared. "Your betrayal was expected. The game has just begun." Sam's blood ran cold. The enemy was closer than ever, and the price of survival was about to get higher. Betrayal in the shadows. The rain hammered down in relentless sheets as Sam darted through the narrow alleys of the city. His heart pounded so loudly. He thought it would give him away. The message on his phone burned in his mind like fire. Your betrayal was expected. The game has just begun. He didn't understand. Betrayal? What had he done? They had all agreed to fight back together, or had someone already turned on? Them, splitting up, falling apart. Lisa's footsteps echoed somewhere behind him, but when he looked back, she had vanished. David was nowhere to be found. Sam slowed down, swallowing the lump in his throat. The city felt more hostile than ever, every shadow a potential threat. He had to find them. A desperate call. Sam ducked into a quiet cafe, the kind of place no one noticed. He dialed Lisa's number, hands shaking. No answer. He left a voice message. "Lisa, it's Sam. We need to meet. Now." Suddenly, his phone buzzed. Again, a new message from an unknown number. "Meet me at the old warehouse on 5th alone, if you want answers." Sam stared, torn between dread and curiosity. The warehouse. The warehouse was a decaying relic on the edge of town. Broken windows, rusted metal, and silence that felt heavy. Sam stepped inside, his footsteps echoing. From the shadows, a figure emerged. Lisa. Her eyes were hard, distant. "Why didn't you tell me?" she demanded. Sam blinked. "Tell you what?" Lisa pulled out a small flash drive and slammed it on a crate. "This," she said, voice shaking, "is what I found. It proves someone in our group is working with them." Sam's stomach turned. The flash drive's secret. David arrived moments later, breathless and pale. They plugged the drive into a battered laptop. Files and messages filled. The screen, secret communications, bank transfers, hidden meetings. One name appeared over and over. Sam. Shattered trust. Sam stared at the screen in disbelief. His own phone showed evidence of late-night calls to unknown numbers. "I didn't—" he began, but Lisa cut him off. "Who else could it be?" she said coldly. "Why else would the message say, 'Your betrayal was expected'?" David shook his head. "We need to find the truth. Fast." A secret meeting. Sam knew he had to prove his innocence. He remembered Tina, the former security tech. "If anyone can help, it's her," he said. They contacted Tina. She agreed to meet in a discreet location. Tina's revelation. In a shadowed cafe, Tina slid a folder across the table. "I dug into the phone records and emails," she said. "Who's been feeding information?" Sam leaned in. "Not you," Tina said firmly, "but someone else close." She pointed to a list of encrypted messages. "Look here, David's been communicating with them too." Sam's head spun. David, his supposed ally. Confrontation back at the safe house. The tension was unbearable. Sam faced David, who avoided. His gaze. "Is it true?" Sam demanded. David's voice cracked. "I had no choice. They threatened my family." Lisa's eyes filled with tears. "So you betrayed us?" David shook his head. "No, I'm trying to protect you all." The room erupted in anger and confusion. A new threat. Before they could argue further, the door crashed open. Armed men stormed in, shouting orders. "Hands up! Everyone stay calm!" Sam, Lisa, and David raised their hands, hearts racing. "Taken the..." Men forced them into black SUVs, blindfolding them. Sam's mind raced. Who had betrayed them this time? Was this the end? In captivity hours later, they were thrown into a cold, windowless room. The leader of their captors stepped forward. "Welcome to the next stage," he said, voice icy. "You have something we want. The hard drive." Sam clenched. His fists. Lisa's voice broke the silence. "We'll never give it to you." An unlikely ally. Suddenly, the door opened. Mr. Gray stepped inside. The captors tensed. Gray smiled calmly. "I'm here to help." Sam stared. Was this another trap? Gray explained that his faction was divided. Some wanted peace, others wanted control. He offered a deal. If Sam and his group handed over the hard drive, Gray's side would protect them. A risky gamble. Sam looked at Lisa and David. Could they trust him? The risk was enormous, but survival meant taking chances. Sam nodded. "Okay, we'll do it." The exchange. The hard drive was handed over. Gray promised safe passage out, but as they left the building, sirens blared. Double-cross Gray's smile faded. They set us up. The captors attacked again. Chaos exploded in the streets. Sam, Lisa, and David fought desperately, running for their lives. The final choice cornered in an abandoned alley. Sam faced Gray. "Why?" Sam shouted. Gray's expression was unreadable. "Because in this game there are no heroes, only survivors." Sam realized the truth. Trust was a luxury they could no longer afford. Escape with a final burst of strength, Sam, Lisa, and David fought. Their way free, breathless and battered, they vanished into the night. The reckoning begins. The cold night air stung Sam's lungs as he and Lisa sprinted through the twisting backstreets, their breath visible in the darkness. David limped behind them, clutching his side, blood seeping between his fingers. The sounds of sirens faded behind them, but the threat was far from over. They had escaped the double-cross, but the betrayal cut deeper than any bullet. They had lost everything they thought they could trust. Their alliances shattered, their enemies closer than ever. In the shadows of desperation, the trio found refuge in a small, abandoned garage on the outskirts of town, a place Sam had once fixed. An old car. It smelled of oil and rust, but tonight it was a sanctuary. Lisa sat quietly, her hands trembling as she stared at the cracked window. "How did it come to this?" she whispered. David closed his eyes. "We were pawns in a game bigger than us. And now the players want to finish us." Sam felt the weight of guilt crushing him. He had brought them into this nightmare. But deep inside, a fire burned, a need for justice, for revenge. Plans in motion, Sam pulled out the hard drive. "We need to know everything on this," he said. "Every secret, every name." Lisa nodded. "If we can expose them, maybe we can turn the tables." David winced. "But first we have to heal. I won't be running anytime soon." Tina's return. They called Tina, who had been watching from a distance. She arrived at dawn, eyes sharp and focused. "We need a secure location to analyze the data," she said. "Somewhere no one will find us." Sam thought of his old family. "A cabin, remote, off the grid. It's perfect," he said. The cabin, a fortress. The cabin sat deep in the woods, surrounded by towering pines. It was silent, except for the rustling leaves. Inside, Tina hooked her laptop to the hard drive, fingers flying over the keys. The files began to reveal the depths of the conspiracy: corrupt politicians, ruthless businessmen, and a shadowy group orchestrating events to seize control of entire industries. The names behind the mask. Sam's eyes widened as he scrolled through the list of names. One name stood out: Vincent Hale. The CEO Sam had saved weeks ago, but why? Had Vincent been part of the plot all along? Lisa's discovery. Lisa leaned over Tina's shoulder, pale and trembling. "There's more," she whispered. Encrypted emails showed that Vincent was blackmailed by the group. His family's safety was at stake. "He's a prisoner just like us," Lisa said. A new ally. Sam picked up his phone and hesitated before dialing a number he had memorized but never thought he'd use. "Mr. Hale," Sam said when the line clicked. "We know everything." There was silence. Then Vincent's voice, calm but weary. "I never wanted this, but I'm trapped. Help me, Sam." A risky plan, Vincent revealed. He had been gathering evidence against the group from inside, hoping for a way out. "If we work together, we can bring them down," he said. "But we'll need proof. Undeniable proof," Sam said. Betrayal. Within, suddenly, the cabin's door burst open. A masked figure stepped inside, gun drawn. Lisa screamed. The figure threw back the mask. "David!" "I'm sorry," he said, tears streaming down his face. "They have my family." Sam and Lisa were stunned. David's confession. David explained how the group had threatened to kill his wife and daughter if he didn't cooperate. "I had no choice," he pleaded. Lisa's voice was cold. "We trusted you." David dropped the gun. "I want to help you, please." Forgiveness and focus. Sam looked at Lisa. She nodded slowly. "We need him." The hunt begins together. They began planning their next move, to gather enough evidence to expose the entire network. Tina worked feverishly to decrypt files, uncovering meeting locations, dates, and key players. Undercover danger. Sam volunteered to meet one of the group's lieutenants, a man named Carter. Disguised and cautious, Sam entered a crowded bar. He spotted Carter in the back, surrounded by guards. Heart racing, Sam approached. A close call as they talked. Sam discreetly recorded the conversation. Carter boasted about their influence and warned of a final plan to silence anyone who opposed them. Suddenly, a bartender recognized Sam from the news. Sam's cover was blown. He ran, dodging punches and flying bottles. Back at the cabin, breathless, Sam returned with the recording. "It's worse than we thought," he gasped. Lisa's resolve. Lisa clenched her fists. "We fight, no matter what." The final push with David's insider knowledge, Vincent's evidence and Tina's tech skills, they prepared to release everything. But the group wouldn't go down quietly. An unexpected attack in the dead of night. The cabin was surrounded. Gunshots shattered the silence. Sam grabbed Lisa's hand. "We hold our ground. Truth, justice, and new beginnings." The cabin was bathed in moonlight, but inside chaos reigned. Shots rang out, echoing through the dense forest as Sam, Lisa, David, and Tina crouched behind overturned furniture, hearts pounding. The shadowy group had come for them, one last desperate attempt to silence the truth. Fight or flight. Sam peeked through a cracked window and saw figures advancing with weapons. Lisa gritted her teeth. "We can't run. We have to fight." David, still wounded, but determined, nodded. Tina whispered, "I'm uploading everything now. The world will see." The siege gunfire intensified. The cabin shook from the impact of bullets. Lisa grabbed a heavy metal rod and prepared to defend their only refuge. David's courage. Despite his injury, David sprang forward, surprising the attackers with fierce resistance. He managed to disarm one assailant, but a bullet grazed his arm. Pain flashed across his face, but he kept going. Sam's resolve. Sam covered Lisa and David, firing back with the old hunting rifle he'd found in the cabin. Every shot was a promise. Promise that they would not be silenced. Tina's last stand at the computer. Tina worked frantically to complete the upload. Her fingers flew over the keyboard. Just as the progress bar reached 95%, the power cut. Darkness swallowed the room. "Hope in the dark backup generator," Sam shouted. Lisa scrambled to find the switch. A tense moment passed before the lights flickered back on. Tina resumed the upload, breathing heavily. The turning point outside, the attackers began to falter. Suddenly, distant, sirens wailed. Backup had arrived. Police raid-uniformed officers swarmed the cabin, catching the attackers by surprise. Shouts and commands echoed as the group was arrested. Aftermath. The dawn broke with a golden light bathing the forest. Sam, Lisa, David, and Tina stepped outside, exhausted but alive. The world had changed overnight. The truth revealed. The files Tina had uploaded were everywhere. News outlets, social media, government agencies. The corrupt network was exposed in full. Vincent's freedom. Vincent Hale was freed from the shadows of blackmail. He held a press conference, thanking those who risked everything. Healing and forgiveness. David's family was safe. He apologized to Lisa and Sam, who forgave him. They had all been broken, but together they were stronger. A new beginning. Sam looked out over the horizon. The mechanic who had saved a CEO was no longer just a man fixing cars. He was a symbol of courage and hope. Powerful lesson. Lisa spoke quietly as they packed to leave the cabin. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to find who you really are. Sam nodded. They had faced betrayal, danger, and fear, and had come out victorious. Epilogue. Months later, Sam opened a community center for youth, teaching skills and offering hope. Lisa started a foundation to help victims of corruption and abuse. David worked with law enforcement to prevent future threats. Tina became a cybersecurity expert, fighting injustice online. The story of a poor mechanic, a desperate CEO, and their fight against a hidden enemy inspired countless people. Because, in the darkest moments, courage shines brightest. End of story.